Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and Coffee Stream episode 429. And it is Wednesday, and it is also Canadian Wednesday. And we have with us Dr. Functional. How are you, sir?
I'm floating in space. And damn it, I missed episode 420.
No, you were on 420.
I was?
You were.
Okay, good.
You
I thought
even
it's been a
sparked
busy
one
last
up.
couple weeks. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. Sorry, Cannibal. I was kind of keeping her preoccupied pre-stream.
Ninja.
We were talking about coffee of hot brew, like normal brew versus cold brew.
Yeah.
And how I find that cold brew is just like brown bean flavored water, whereas hot brew and then turning it and then chilling it, like letting it sit out after it's been percolated to get to room temperature and then chilling it off. Because we like our coffee to taste like coffee, to know it's coffee.
Yes.
Because it's got to have that flavor, that robustness, that aroma.
When I grind, because we grind our coffee now.
Yeah.
And I put in like 2/3 of a cup and then another half of a third of a cup of coffee beans into the coffee grinder for a pot of coffee. So
Okay.
It is a strong ass pot of coffee.
Yeah. I don't put coffee in my coffee grinder. No, don't get it.
I
Okay.
do get it. We had one, yeah.
Glorious day in Canada. After
is.
the little mini heat wave we had beginning of the week, it's finally gotten to like a decent summer temperature, and I'm happy as I bet you are too with the kids. Oh my god.
Oh god, it was either too hot or pouring rain.
Yeah, and then it would heat up,
like
and then
a
it
week.
felt like you were breathing soup.
It did because it would
Dude,
rain.
that 2 weeks ago today, the Canadian coffee stream I missed was due to the fact that we had like a 90% humidity or something.
Yeah.
And it was like 35 degrees, 40 degrees in my apartment. I just passed out from the heat.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was when it would rain, it wouldn't cool off because the sun would come back immediately and just evaporate all the water on the ground back up into the air.
And you wish you had gills.
And it was like, oh my god, it was just horrible. And the rain, it like my house sounded like it was in a fucking power washer.
Yeah, and I normally love the rain. And normally it helps to just cool things off and sort of refresh things, but that was just mean.
Grillin' Pirate Pete says, remember kids, on these hot and sunny days, sunblock only works if everyone wears it.
Oh! Well played, sir. Well played. I'm gonna have to steal that one later. You know what? I'll probably say that on Minions on Saturday.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Because that is fucking fantastic.
I love that.
I try not to swear in the first. I take cues from Monkey because he's been doing this quite a long time. Try not to swear in the first 15 minutes. Functional, daffy bastard.
Oh my goodness, it's been an interesting. It's been an interesting few weeks. We had because we got a new governor general finally.
Finally.
Like seriously. Fuck, man.
I haven't had time to research them, but I was relieved that that they actually filled the position.
Yeah,
that's the first step. The second step is dig up as much dirt as you can, or not dirt, and see what good and bad that they've done throughout their careers, if they have any relevant experience.
Well, she was the
Of course, it was.
She held an ambassadorial appointment. At one point. She's an Inuit, or Inuk, I guess is her actual band.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the first Indigenous Governor General.
Yay, identity politics, because it doesn't matter. It just matters if you're good at your job.
Right. As long as she does the right thing and does a good job, I don't care if she's Indigenous or not.
Yeah. I did hear one thing, that there was some kerfuffle that she doesn't speak fluent French, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah,
I'm so sick of these language laws.
The Quebecois are getting pretty ridiculous about French right now. It's like, dude, you have French all over your province like you wanted. Why are you so bent out of shape about the rest of the country?
Yeah. All that should matter, really, at the end of the day. Can the person do their job?
Yeah.
We have technology to supplement such, I'm looking for the right word here, but shortcomings, let's say.
Yeah. Like, and there are, like, who's to say she won't learn French? Like, there have been plenty of politicians, say from Western Canada, for example, right, who get to Ottawa and are, they know enough to pass a bilingual test, right, and get certified as bilingual, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't really learn to speak French until they get to Ottawa, right? And
where it becomes more commonplace.
And they have to, right? And they learn. Like, Elizabeth May couldn't speak French to save her life.
She still can't.
She can do like, she can do it better now.
Yeah, she can actually say the words.
In comparison to when she first started, like, holy crap, that woman could not speak French. And she at least made a concerted effort, right? You know what I mean? She like, and who's to say that this woman, that Mary Simon, won't do that?
I sent you the article from the CBC in Discord. Since we're talking about her, I guess we might as well bring it up if you want to.
Yeah, I will go and get the link right now.
Because just quickly glossing over, it's a short article, but does go over what we're talking about, what her previous positions were and everything, and gives like the actual details.
Yeah.
It's interesting because in the last paragraph it says the Official Languages Act applies to federal institutions. Alex, relax. Theberg said, not to individuals. The investigation will look into the Privy Council office. It will not look into Mrs. Simon, but into the process that led to her nomination. So, yeah, it's based on the institution. So that when she is making policy, there are people in place and technologies in place that can put out statements in French.
Yeah.
And can bring in and translate any statements in French that she needs to be a party to.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's get to this article.
And I joke, I made the comment, oh, of course, Trudeau, okay, she's a woman. But she actually does seem very qualified.
Yeah, like,
for, government work.
She's done, like, ambassadorial stuff. She was the ambassador to Denmark, I believe. Good job, buddy. Don't yell, though.
Yeah, and 20 years for the Department of Foreign Affairs.
I mean, trust me, there have been times when I've won a Mortal Kombat match where I've wanted to go, yeah, like at the top of my lungs.
Mortal Kombat!
There have been a couple of times in the last streams where I've gone to yell and I've just gone,
I like it when I'm watching you play while I'm, working or painting or something, and you get a good victory, And you do this thing with, you get this really wry smile, just like, fuck yeah, bitch, I know I just got you.
Well, it's like there are some like victories because of how the other person plays that you're just like, oh, I need to win.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like you just the way that they're playing, you're like, I need to win this match.
You're being a cheesy little.
Yeah.
And I want to put you in your place.
Ugh.
Oh man, the amount of hours I spent in arcades back in the day at Young and Dundas, playing Street Fighter and Tekken and all those old games.
No, game over because you lost.
Well, I win that fight, Mom.
Oh, you won that fight?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fight, but lost the
Dad, I
war.
said ring out.
Okay. Are you gonna go play again, or are you gonna play Sonic or something?
Now he wants to be silent.
No, he's picking. He loves Virtua Fighter.
I remember that was like one of the very first 3D styled fighting games. I don't know if it's the same one, but
It's
first version
called
was.
Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. So this is the article that Functional sent me. So commissioner investigating after complaints pour in
Many complaints
about next Governor General's lack of French. Fucking Quebec. Oh, Jesus Christ. And you know it's all coming from the separatists.
Yeah.
You know it is.
Yeah, because they're the only ones who are clinging die hard onto our archaic language laws. Like, excuse me, it was Costin who said, "Who cares if she can speak French? She speaks one of the official languages.
Yeah.
What she says can be translated." Yeah, that's the point. Like, if she couldn't speak English or French, maybe we'd have a problem.
Yeah.
But you can
Like,
speak
if
one
she
of the
only-
two official languages.
If she only
fine.
spoke Inuktitut,
Yeah.
like that might be an issue.
Or even
Right?
even the opposite. If she didn't speak very good English but could speak fluent French, that's fine.
Yeah.
You speak one of the official languages. It's fine.
Notice how nobody like there are French politicians, French members of parliament, right?
Yeah.
That you never hear speak English.
They refuse to.
Ever.
It's
Okay.
it's like if they had to speak English, their attitude is it's like they're giving up their firstborn or their inherent human rights or something.
Yeah. And do you hear English speaking Canada pour in complaints to anybody about that person's not speaking English?
Not really, no.
No. Because why? They're speaking one of the official languages and there's a translator.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
It just
So let's see here. The office of the commissioner of wait, hold on.
don't worry. It's a tough sentence because it's a tongue
No,
twister.
I'm trying to figure out if this is the caption
No. That's the first
or
paragraph.
if that's the first pair. Okay. So Mary Simon, an Inuk leader and former Canadian
the
diplomat, has been named Canada's next Governor General, the first Indigenous person to be named to the office. Yay! I mean, the goodie, but I mean,
It's neither a benefit or a detractor. It just is. She just is.
yeah,
Anyway.
it shouldn't matter. Like, I mean, I can understand. I can understand if you're, Indigenous and that would, like, if that makes you happy, like, awesome.
Okay, cool. We're being represented. Yeah.
But I mean, it shouldn't matter. So, the Office of the Commissioner of Official Languages says it will investigate the nomination process of governors general. Oh my god. Why?
First of all, the fact that we have an Office of the Commissioner of Official Languages.
Yeah.
Government bloat. I mean, just whatever.
Right. So after hundreds of complaints from Canadians, yes, just Canadian, not French Canadian. I love how they're not saying hundreds of complaints from Canadians upset that the newest nominee, Mary Simon, cannot speak French.
Dun, dun.
The office says
Here we go.
It has received more than 430 complaints.
A whopping 430 in a country of 33 million!
And
Makes my head hurt, PP.
And that it considers many of them to be admissible. Many of them. I love how it doesn't say like a number, just many of the complaints are admissible.
Yeah, because most of them were Zut alors!
Mon Dieu! Tabernacle!
She does not speak the French. My Quebecois accent is not very good, you know. And I think the next paragraph is also pretty important, given things that we've been talking about recently.
Yeah. So it says Simon is Inuk and was educated in a federal day school. I love how it says that. A federal day school in the Nunavut region, where she was not given the opportunity to learn French.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
not trying to make excuses or gloss over some of the atrocities that have happened in federal schools in regards to Native Canadians. But look at how many people it has uplifted to give them modern education.
Well, but they don't even have, like, because there are a lot of people from the, because I, like, it's an interesting thing to stumble across residential school survivors on platforms like TikTok, because they're starting to make videos where they tell stories about it.
Yeah.
And like they talk about, and they don't just talk about the treatment, they talk about the education. And they were given an education that was even subpar to a normal public school education, because they weren't considered worthy of that much education. It's really fucked.
Yeah.
It's like they don't. It was basically just like, well, you can learn how to read and write and do your math, but like other than that, you're not getting the encouragement of free thought and like you know how in school, well, when I was in school, I don't know how it is now. When I was in school, my teachers encouraged me to like think for myself and explore different avenues of things, right? In my education, and that was just not a thing that was offered.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm just like, what I'm trying to say is, in principle, these things can be very beneficial. They just have to be done right. And considering people's rights, inherent human rights and freedoms, in that, no, don't be stealing children, but offer them to families. Say, hey, we will give your children the avenues to better lives and better education in the modern sphere of things,
Yeah,
so that they can
don't sit
become
there. Don't be
tenant
like you.
governor general and lawyers and doctors.
Yeah,
And
don't automatically assume that the parents cannot educate, but be like, hey, would you like your kid to attend this at some point for like an extended education, maybe,
yeah,
or like a bolstering of
an
education,
avenue to college, university,
yeah,
to
like not just go like,
and
because that was the problem with the residential schools in the foster system
yes,
was
yes,
it was the assumption that native parents were just bad,
yeah,
and therefore the poor kids need to be taken away from these horrible
the
people.
epitome of racism. These
um
people are inferior. Everything
yeah,
they do is inferior. We need
and
to.
that was why the
Pathetic.
schools were so horrible, because it was, you know, we've taken you away from these horrible people. How dare you continue to speak their language and act like them?
Mhm.
You must act like a white person now.
And I don't know
And
about
that's pretty
you,
fucked up.
but while I was in high school and even grade school, high school, college, university, learning about other people's culture came naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I learned about Indians and Pakistanis and Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
Koreans, because I was put into these environments where, yeah, it was like very diverse, people from all over, or who maybe their parents were from other places, and I got to learn about their culture. It wasn't ham-fisted down my throat by, you know, diversity and inclusion type programs or what have you. It just flew naturally because I got to walk up to these people and befriend them and eventually
Exactly.
share my experiences as a, eighth generation Canadian and theirs as wherever they were from or where their parents or grandparents or what have you, their cultural background was from. I think
We
that did a
had
lot more than any sort of forcing it upon people.
well, we had my high school was a feeder school for mostly University of Waterloo,
Yeah.
right? So Chinese parents would start the foreign exchange student process in high school
Yeah.
and send their kids over here, and so we would have uh, high school students whose parents or maybe themselves were hoping for like an engineering degree, or
One of those high
one of the
quality.
high sciences, and they would be like, there would be tons of foreign exchange students at my high school,
Yeah.
hoping to get into UW because of the science program.
Yeah. For me, growing up in high school, predominantly was mostly Europeans from all over, like Russian, Uzbeks, Polish, like from all over across Eastern, Western Europe.
Yeah,
Later on, college, university is where I learned a lot more what you would typically call non-white cultures. But I mean, to me, they were both equally informative and valuable. I still got to
so
learn about different cultures.
my grade school was, so I went to school from grade school from 94 to 2000. So my school was, and it was also an inner city school, so it was populated with a lot of low income white kids
Yeah.
and Somali/Serbian refugees,
Okay.
because of both of the problems going on with the Bosnia, Czech Republic, all that
Yeah.
nonsense,
Yeah.
and all the ridiculousness in Somalia that was happening in the 90s.
Yeah.
There
Me
were
was
a
post USSR.
Yeah, there were a lot of people from Somalia that had moved, or that area of Africa.
Back when we actually took refugees from
Yeah,
actual war-torn countries,
yeah,
not just economic migrants.
exactly.
Which, again, say what you want about, there's some people who have some fair criticisms about our immigration policies. Those are the ones that I feel are very much justified, because if we can help people escape, flee war, I think that's the most noble
Oh, for
type of
sure.
immigration.
And like, if you like, from what I've noticed, is people who emigrate, or who immigrate away from actual problems, they tend to want to be a part of the country they move to.
Hmm.
Like, they don't, and they don't like give up their culture or anything, and nobody wants them to, but they also like learn about the country they come to.
Hmm.
And they try to be a part of the country, and provide and produce, and all that.
Yeah, because
And
they come
I've
to a.
noticed that the economic refugees tend to be like, "Oh, look at the things that we get," because we make it a very nice deal to be here.
Hmm.
When we welcomed in all those refugees a few years back, they got handed things that most citizens would never get. You know what I mean?
You're not
Like,
wrong.
and it was a little bit messed up.
Yeah. And
Refugee immigrants are only accepted if they promise to vote liberal. Yeah, not wrong there.
yeah, because like I can put myself in their shoes a little bit and go like, hey, I'm coming into this country and you're telling me there's no war, there's educational and economic opportunity. Hell yeah. That's
Yeah,
something I
exactly.
want to be a part of. That's something I will on Canada Day be celebrating the nation that has given me these opportunities. And I don't mean that in any sort of pandering way, but I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes, into somebody's shoes who would be coming from an area where it is very economically, educationally, like a drought, where there
Yeah,
might be war. And like I said, in high school, that was, post USSR. So there was still little skirmishes going on after the dissolution of the USSR.
yeah.
So they were trying to escape that, and they seemed to. I mean, some of them didn't speak a lick of English, but they
Mm-hmm.
made this concentrated effort to not only learn the language, but be hungry to learn more about the culture, the nation, and like I said, be happy, ecstatic to say, oh, you want to learn more about where I came from and what my cultural background is. Wow, let's be friends, because where I come from, somebody would in some cases, persecute me for such things.
Yeah.
What my background ethnically or culturally might be. And
Well,
I'm getting a little emotional now, because like that's what makes the West so great.
it
That's so
is.
cool. Is that we are so welcoming of that kind of stuff, and we hunger for that kind of ground floor personal experience education. At least I do, and I found that a lot of people that I knew did.
Well, my aunt, she's from Siberia, and she
Hmm.
moved here when I think she was 21,
Yeah.
and she not only learned English, but she learned French.
Hmm.
And she speaks better French than my uncle did. And my uncle was born in Quebec,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And his first language was French. And she spoke better French than he did. and it was her third, right? Like, she came here to Canada, she learned English, she got her, like, she studied, like, super hard for her citizenship test.
Yeah, she was hungry for it. Yeah.
She was hungry for it, like, and like it, and there are lots of people that are, and that doesn't mean that you don't, there's a problem where people have assumed that becoming, Canadian or American means that you automatically are supposed to give up your culture. And that's not at all true.
No.
Like, my aunt's kids were all born here, right?
Mhm.
But they know some Russian. They all, like, there's a Russian store that in Ottawa that they go to, because there's a big Russian community there.
Mhm.
And they go to the Russian store quite often. They cook Russian dishes sometimes to, like, for themselves, like, and they do the same thing with French. Like, they do, French cooking, and they also speak French.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
but they still
have
keep the
all
spirit of their
culture. Like,
yeah.
They have French culture, they have Russian culture, and they have English culture, all in one household.
And generally, 99% of the time, nobody judges you based on any of that.
No.
It's just like, oh, that's cool. So let's go get coffee. Okay.
Exactly.
Maybe
Like that's the best part about being Canadian. And
Yep.
like, there's so many people that want to make this a big race thing, and it's like, stop.
Yeah,
Just stop.
Because, like, what was it? Yeah, it was as recent as like the 80s and 90s. The West was like a post-racial society,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going backwards, and we're making everything about race and everything about culture and ethnicity now. And it's like, stop it! Just stop it. You want to you claim you want to help people, but you're doing more to harm people.
And it's
Then
all about this, and it's not just about race, it's about labels in general. Because I saw a freaking room on I don't know if you've heard of this app, Clubhouse. It's like an audio chatting social network.
Okay.
But I saw a room scheduled in a disability club that I'm in, called the Ableism of the Paralympics. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How are the Paralympics ableist? Why? Because they exist, and disabled athletes aren't allowed in the regular Olympics? Like, what do you
Yeah, it makes no sense.
What do you want? What ableism in the Paralympics? What?
Because it's the best of the best of
because
people with
it's the best of
disabilities?
the best of disabled people, and the rest of the world finds that incredibly inspiring, that these people have not only overcome their disability in general, but have overcome their disability to become an Olympic level athlete.
Yeah, and most of them, all of them, they're well and above, even with their quote unquote disabilities, are above and beyond your run of the mill quote unquote able-bodied people.
Yeah. And like, there are so many disabled people that get angry when people find anything that they do inspiring, and it's like, okay, you know what? Guess what? Sometimes it's okay to be an inspiration to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it gets maudlin when, people tell you you're inspiring when you're, doing your dishes. Okay? But if you manage to become an Olympic level athlete while being paraplegic, or you manage to become an incredible an Olympic level swimmer while blind, or you know, you can only do it, you can only, you know, swim with your arms. Like, it's fine to be inspired by that.
Yeah, it
Like,
gives
that's not ableism.
kids, younger people,
Sorry.
some like it's like any other sort of like pinnacle athlete, since we're on
Yeah.
the athlete, like to give kids something to maybe aspire to. How are kids going to know that, yeah, if I eat my vegetables, drink my milk, say your prayers and eat your vitamins, brother, you know, to become an NBA star, an MLB star, an NHL star, you know, not just, oh, well, I can play hockey after school because it's fun.
Yeah.
Which is cool too. It's not forcing anyone to do anything, but it's exposing, yeah, if you work hard enough and, you know, you do have to have a certain level of innate talent, but at the end of the day, most of it is hard work and dedication, you can excel and be that person that you're right now looking up to as a young person.
Yeah. Like, disabled kids should be allowed to have that.
Mm-hmm. Like my brother-in-law's friend, he was he is a paraplegic. He doesn't have use of his legs. I think they're both gone at this point. But he played in the Olympic basketball team,
Okay.
the wheelchair basketball team. And this guy, I've seen him work out. Put me to shame, even in my heyday.
Yeah.
Like doing pull-ups and stuff. I'm like, dude has got like, we're talking almost near Hulk Hogan level pythons, brother.
God damn.
Like this guy was just jacked, and he was, you know, as a kid, he's showing off. He's doing like handstands and hand walks and everything. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is incredible. And then, you know, fast forward 25, 30 years later to me being an adult and dealing with my own coming to grips with my own developed disability.
Yeah.
Going, you know what? If he can do that, I can get out of bed and fucking clean the apartment.
Yeah.
That's just on a personal level. But, you know, when it's very different when you're born with something and when you develop or something happens and then you gain that. There is a little bit of getting used to it. But looking back at that, I was just like, it gave me a little kick in the tuchus. You know what I mean? Gave me a little bit of motivation, in addition to other avenues that I took to say, you know, this isn't the end.
And it's so frustrating that so many disabled people and quote allies want to call that ableism. It's like, just fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
just stop.
Again, it's the people trying the hardest to be an activist who are doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
Overall, and it's pathetic. I pity these people, the activists, not anybody else. I pity them because I believe that, yeah, they probably do have good intentions, but they've become so corrupt and brainwashed by some of these narratives that they've become exactly what we as a forward-thinking Western liberal society are against at our core.
Well, and I remember when being an activist meant that you wanted actual, like, change.
Mm-hmm.
Not just to sit and scream about things that make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, activists used to want to, like, have discussions with the people that could actually get things done. Mm-hmm. Instead of, like, burn things down and screech. Like, that's what activism has become now. It's either sit on Twitter and yell or set things on fire and destroy
have petulant, immature temper tantrums.
That's
not how you get your way.
Helpful discourse.
Yeah, because I've told you about my stopping an assault story, right? I stopped randomly just walking down the street, saw this guy assaulting a woman,
right?
Which I believe was going to lead to something even more egregious.
Yeah.
And I stopped it. And it's funny because today on social media, I'll be called a conceited, male chauvinist. You know.
Oh, you needed to go to her rescue? Oh, a white knight.
Well, no, not even sharing that. Just like sharing other ideas, like talking about how feminism is a mental illness or something. And they'll be like, "Oh, well, and I don't engage these people because they obviously aren't coming in good faith." But it's like in my back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? I've probably done more on that one day to help women than you have in your whole life with your activism. Or another story is I actively met with people who were white supremacists, who were actual neo-Nazis, and talked to them and got to listen to their side of the story, how they got to where they were, where their mind, the travel, their mind and their thought processes and their experience brought them to that level of bigotry. And not all, but I made headway with at least two of them who renounced those kinds of ways. And a little bit of a trick was I'm very white presenting. I could pass for white easily, even though I'm predominantly Middle Eastern and Jewish, Ashkenazi Jew.
Yeah.
But when, we had these conversations and, maybe 2-3 conversations down the line, I'll be like, well, that my background is this. And the sort of light that went on behind their eyes going, oh, maybe my preconceived notions and what was taught to me by other people who were bigots was not what I thought it was. And at least 2 that I know of rescinded their ways because of that. And again, I look back at people who call me a Nazi or whatever online, and I'm like, again, I've done more to combat such things in a couple years of my life than you will ever dream possible in yours.
Well, like, I've got in my city, like, I was one of the instrumental people that helped get audible traffic lights more prevalent.
Great.
In their city because because of that car accident that I was involved in.
Yeah.
And like, instead of just sitting there and yelling about being hit by a car on Twitter, I actually, with my orientation and mobility instructor, went to the city and was like, yo, there needs
Save
to be
some
more
lives.
audible lights at busy intersections, people.
Yep. Yep. You know what, though? I'm going to criticize you on that because you've now enabled the idiots who walk around with their eyes glued to their phone.
Oh,
they're not going to get hit by cars, but
that's true.
that's a joke. It's a joke, people.
So let's see what Mr. Brian Lilly has to say. I actually kind of like his writing.
He is one of the better ones at Toronto Sun. I mean, I know they get a lot of flack for being kind of, but there are a couple of their columnists that are actually really good, logical thinking, and fair-minded.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to top up my coffee, but I'm still listening.
Okay. So it says, Trudeau moves solo on the border as election looms. And I definitely think there's going to be an election very soon. I would say probably before the new year. So it says, so this says, check another task off of Justin Trudeau's pre-election to-do list. Of course. So, let's move through these links and crap. He announced the gradual reopening of the Canadian border. Sure, the Americans aren't yet saying that Canadians can drive across the border, but starting August 9th, they can come north. Oh boy.
But people can fly south.
Yeah, but they still have to quarantine.
Yeah, I know. Sora was telling me about all that because her mom just came back from Romania, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. So this says that this was one of a series of announcements the government made Monday. The fact, oops, where am I here? Damn it. So that this was a series of announcements the government made Monday. The fact that the Prime Minister wasn't present for the border update so that he could make a different announcement points to this being election motivated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I think that we are going to be going to the polls very soon. If we don't go to the polls by before the new year, we will be in campaign mode before the new year. For sure. At the very least, campaigns will be happening. At the most, we will be voting. Now that COVID is kind of being reined in a little bit, I think that we will be going to the polls very soon.
Yeah.
Even the timing points to an election with the border starting to reopen on August 9th. When where am I? When election call is expected from any time after August 8th. Wow, that's soon. Yeah, see, that supports what I was just predicting. If they're expecting an election call anytime after the 8th of August.
Yeah. With the extensions to our lockouts here in Ontario, I was thinking it would be just after summer, but I think you're right. It's going to be closer to the new year, given that things have sort of been extended and kind of they're still middling about with it.
Yeah. Howdy, Gunfox. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, Gunny and Sir Adamantine.
And Adamantine, yep.
Don't forget to like the stream, guys.
Yep.
LPPO.
Under the new rules, Americans who have been fully vaccinated for at least 14 days can enter Canada starting August 9th. Travelers from other countries won't be allowed to travel to Canada for non-essential reasons. Well, what the fuck is what is an essential reason? What deems an essential reason to come home?
Chinese corporate representatives that want to buy up more of our country. Oh, did I say that out loud?
I'm not getting the jab, says Gunfox. Well, that's your choice.
Yeah.
To me, I think this is gonna be more like a flu shot. I am getting mine this year just as a initial immunization. But I do not think that I will be getting it yearly.
Sure. And you know what? That's your right, Gunfox. I'm the same. I don't want to get it. But the thing about people on our side generally aren't saying, oh, well, you're getting the vax, you're a fucking moron. No, it's more like, oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah.
But the other side is more like, you didn't get it? What, do you want to kill grandma?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, holy shit. Do you know how vaccinations work? You got yours, you're fine.
Yeah. Exactly. Where are we here? So this carries on to say, of course, come on, Chrome yourself. Of course, what constitutes a non-essential reason is kind of a fluid measurement for the government. The Trudeau Liberals said for months that the border was closed to non-Canadians, and yet between February 22nd and April 18th, 105,042 Canadian citizens or permanent residents entered the country by air, compared to 955 foreign nationals. Jesus Christ. That's a bit of a discrepancy.
Almost 6,000 more foreign nationals than citizens and permanent residents, and yet what's coming out of their mouth doesn't reflect the facts.
Well,
I am shocked. I am shocked and appalled, BP, that they would be taking such liberal, making such liberal statements so willy-nilly in light of the facts being the complete opposite.
Piccolo says, I don't know, you can't really say that since one of my drivers pretty much disowned their son for getting vaccinated. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay, no. There's obviously extremes and exceptions to the rule. I'm just saying generally. I see generally in my interactions with people, in real life and online,
yeah,
it does seem a little bit more one-sided, that people are a little bit, zealous.
And Piccolo says, and according to the reports I read, most of those foreign nationals were coming out of India. Yeah, they were. where it was running rampant.
Yeah, because at the start of COVID, the TFW program, Temporary Foreign Worker Program, kind of dipped down to next to nothing.
Yeah.
But in the last several months, it's been going in overtime.
Yeah.
Because we still have lots of economic opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that entirely, yeah.
So it says, so what will really happen is anyone's guess. Yep. I can say that after listening to the Liberal claim that the border was not an issue for bringing COVID-19 into Canada for more than a year, they are now claiming their border measures stopped the growth of COVID. Okay. Intergovernmental Affairs Minister Dominic LeBlanc said that the federal government's measures brought down cases. Okay.
Fucking that makes me so bloody mad. The outset of COVID, we had an idea of what was going on. We didn't close the border. We didn't take any measures on the federal level. They let people come and go as they please. 6 months into the pandemic, 8 months into the pandemic.
Yeah.
Then they started with hardcore measures.
Yeah.
Which demonstrably did nothing. I hate these people so much. They lie with every word. It just, I'm sorry, guys, but it gets me so mad.
And it's so crazy because there are so many people who don't, like, all they get is, like, the morning news on the radio, or, like, on their phone when they, like, their Apple News, whatever, from the main newspapers.
Yeah,
like,
I used to get shoveled all the CBC stuff. I've blocked them on on Facebook, on my normal, unless I'm specifically looking for a specific CBC article, I've blocked them because they're nothing but propaganda at this point.
And there are so many people that's all they get, and they just, like, they when you tell them, oh no, the Liberal government is full of crap, they're like, oh no, that's not true. And it's like, nobody watches the view count on CPAC is sad.
Yep.
It's really sad because I don't think the general public knows that there's a CPAC YouTube channel.
We certainly do. We watch so much of it.
Exactly. But the thing is, if even 20% more people watched what went on in the House of Commons,
Oh, it would be so good.
they would be like, wow, that's who's in charge of us?
Mm-hmm. And
Let's
those are
fix
the people
this.
across the aisles are the ones we've been deriding and making fun of the last several years. I think it's time to rethink what's going on
Yeah.
and look at the ratios of things like City TV, CBC, CTV, like all the big Canadian networks. You look at those ratios, it's thousands, tens of thousands of downvotes
Yeah.
to a smattering, a pathetic handful of upvotes. And look at the comments and see what people are saying. Yeah, you have to weed through it, and I don't suggest looking through it all the time. But just as a fun exercise, if you look at that stuff, you go like, wow.
And you see most of the time that places like CBC just don't even have their comments on.
Oh, yeah. Remember, it's been like a 2-month pilot project that they've been doing to disable all social media comments on CBC.
Yeah.
You know why? Because people were learning from people's comments in the comment section and going, wow, I didn't know about that. Look it up and go, wow.
Yeah, because people were posting links to things.
Yep. Facebook was several times actually auto-deleted comments of links to the Canadian health agencies.
Yeah.
Because it went against the news narrative, not the actual. I'll give them this. It wasn't the federal government's narrative. It was the news narrative that it was going against. These fear pieces, these hit pieces that they've been putting out, and they were deleting them.
I'm not surprised.
No, because the corporate media truly is the enemy of the people, and the more I mentioned this to Prospero earlier this morning, more and more people, however slowly, are taking notice.
Yeah.
And eventually, I hope there's going to be a nonviolent reckoning to hold these people accountable for their poor decisions and inaction.
Shall we end with our Poilievre video?
Oh yeah, this is a funny one because I'm just going to set it up. Like, it's something that we've all sort of been exposed to on the global stage. And in true Poilievre fashion, he's taken the piss on that World Economic Forum piece that people have been talking about lately. And I'm sure most of you in chat have already seen it. It's really fun. It's fun.
Oh man. And you know, our dear friend Krista Freeland is on the board of the World Economic Forum.
Gee, I wonder why. Because she's a globalist shill piece of crap. When people think of globalist elites, that's Krista Freeland. That's Justin Trudeau. These are the people getting their pockets and their friends' pockets lined with heavy dough for the shit that they're pulling.
Creepy.
I at this point, I think she's just an evil person. At first I thought maybe she was just playing a role. Maybe she was a little bit ignorant. No, I think she's at this point just downright evil.
Oh, she is definitely not ignorant. That woman is.
Like, people want to poke fun at Bezos because he spent a bunch of money to go into space and think he's evil or whatever. No. She's evil.
Yeah.
He's just a smart businessman who made the world's greatest delivery company. Because at the root of it, that's what Amazon is. They're just a delivery company. And, you know, they branched out a little bit, but what made them big was they were a delivery company that looked at the USPS, Canada Post, Royal Mail, and said, hold my beer.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it right.
Yeah. You guys suck. Let me do it better.
Yep. And did. And made billions.
Yeah, they did.
And created hundreds of thousands of jobs globally.
Oh, yeah.
So there are things I can take issue with Mr. Bezos, but those aren't one of them.
Like, that... And it drives me like, while I'm setting this up, it drives me crazy when I see people, like, especially disabled people, shit on capitalism
Yeah.
Because it's like, do you have any idea how much your life has been made better as a
The
disabled
opportunities you've
person?
had your entire life because of that economic system.
Yeah.
Again, there's plenty we can criticize,
Oh, yeah.
but at its core and how it's affected so much good change over the last 100 years has been a net benefit for all involved.
Absolutely.
And
So, so
Gunny's a
this
little
video
upset.
is...
Hold on,
this-
BP. Gunny's a little upset you didn't say fuck you, Gunny.
Huh?
Gunny's a little upset you didn't say fuck you, Gunny.
Oh, fuck you, Gunny.
Fuck you, Gunny. I got your back, Gunny. Don't worry.
I don't know why, but fuck you, Gunny.
All right.
When in doubt, fuck you, Gunfox. So this video is called You'll Own Nothing, and You'll Be Happy About It.
Yep.
Poilievre.
Like, okay. Before you hit play, I'm looking at your recommendeds on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Recommended CPAC live now. 20 people watching.
That's so sad.
I wonder how many people are watching like PewDiePie or some other degenerate fucking streamer. Okay, maybe PewDiePie is a bad example, but some titty streamer on Twitch or whatever. How many Canadians are watching that shit when they should be watching
Probably
CPAC?
a lot. More than need to be, I'm sure.
I'm not against having entertainment, but like, come on, be a citizen first.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
I want to thank my colleague from Carleton for all his optimism and his 5 points. I come from Oshawa, where it's a big manufacturing background, and I've been hearing about the Liberals shutting down our manufacturing sector, our softwood lumber sector, our mining sector, and he knows, of course, Mr. Carney wants to promote Russian pipelines and block Canadian pipelines. So could he please explain to Canadian youth who are looking for a good future how modern monetary theory is going to help them get those jobs of the future, and how by 2030, when they own nothing, they'll be really happy.
I swore he was going to retort with, learn the code. And if he did, I would have gotten in an Uber, I would have found Carney, and I would have beat the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm. This is, yeah.
The honourable member for Carleton.
Well, those are some great questions. First of all, modern MMT, they call it, modern monetary theory. MMT can also stand for more money today, or magic money tree. It's this new theory where governments will just simply print cash. The banks will create, the central bank prints the cash, sends it over in a Brinks truck every day to the Prime Minister's office, and he just starts throwing the money around. Well, what we have now is a little bit different. To start with, we don't have a direct sale of the debt to the bank. It first gets funneled through the financial sector in Canada so that they can take a piece and take a cut and get even richer before that newly printed cash trickles down to the people on the bottom. But
Don
the
needs his
bottom line is that
20%.
what we have today is very similar to MMT. It is printing mass sums of cash that inflates the assets of the rich and raises the consumer prices of the poor. That is a massive new inflation tax that will only help big government, big business, and the super rich at the expense of the working class. That's why we're speaking out against it. As for Mr. Carney, you're right, he's part of the World Economic Forum that the finance minister joins, which says that in 2030, only 9 years from now, you will own nothing and you will love it. That is the agenda of these people. Maybe that's why over the last year they've done everything in their power to make housing completely unaffordable so that nobody can afford it except them, a small group of landed aristocrats, while the common people are out in the field doing the work. We on this side want to democratize property ownership, make it available to everybody.
Because they don't want to just tax your income, your purchases, but they want to get down to the nitty gritty and have you be taxed just for existing on top of it.
It's true. Like if you like with the way that the house prices were, like Pinkalo and I want, like we do want to own a house. Like we don't want to rent forever. And like with the way the prices are right now, it's like we will never be able to own a house. And it's Like, unless the prices go down and things change like that, and that's very sad.
And even ownership, and it also affects, which directly affects the rental markets, because Elwin and I, we make no disillusions. We're not going to be property owners, but we're looking for a new place, and even just looking within my own building, rent is almost double what I'm paying now for the exact same unit 2 floors down. Scares me, BP. It's scary. How are your kids gonna fare when they have to leave the nest?
Yeah. He says while not watching CPAC. What do you mean, right now?
Well, I mean, how do you think I found the clip? Like, I watched CPAC. No, I told him in chat, like, I watch it throughout the day when I can, not generally live, but I mean, even that Poilievre video, there were like 100,000 views. This is from this morning, I believe.
Yeah.
100,000 views,
channel, right?
7.2K upvotes.
Yeah, that's his channel, right?
Yeah. And compare that to like the news media outlets I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, that puts them to shame, and that's his personal channel of his own CPAC clips.
Oh yeah, and if you look at the comments, it's like Pierre for Prime Minister, like all this stuff. Like, I don't think he's in any danger of losing his riding.
No, in fact, I think his influence will only spread.
Yeah,
which is a good thing, because I'm not a party person. I'm not a party voter. I vote for the best person at the moment for the job, and that's why all my life I voted Liberal, I voted Conservative, I voted Independents, I voted, even once I voted NDP, because the actual person in my riding was very good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Regardless of the fact that they were a part of the wrong party, because the NDP actually is the wrong party. But and when they were
to do for the riding was what you wanted them to do for the riding.
They knew the proper problems. Like, just as a quick example, the Conservative person in the riding was thinking too federally. This is a smaller riding. The Liberal person was thinking too, and I hate to use the word, but too liberally, wanted to just spend without any actual addressing of the issues. Oh, homelessness is a problem, so let's spend. Okay, what are you going to spend it on? Oh, don't worry about that. It's like, no, that's not how this works.
I'm sorry, I do worry about that.
Yes. Anyway.
Well, my friends, you have reached the end of another coffee stream. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves as much as we did. Always a good time. And this Saturday we'll be doing for Star Trek the things that we would have wanted to see more of, like a plot point that we wish would have been expanded, or a race that we got introduced to that didn't get used more in a series, or just things that we would have liked more of from from different series over time is what we're going to be talking about on Saturday.
Cool.
And also remember to come by Twitch tonight. I will be trying to get to Grandmaster on Combat League. So come and watch that. And I hope to see you back on Friday at noon over here on YouTube. So thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day.
Bye, everybody.